Hi, I'm Wayne Shanks, and today we're going to talk about density, and we're going to use as a model the layers of the ocean. So the bottom are the sediment layer, the deep ocean, and then the surface layer of the ocean. And we're going to use some representative materials to replicate that for you today. So what is density? Density is how heavy a matter is based on its relative size. So if you took a handful of rocks, it would be lighter than a handful of Cheerios because the rocks are more dense. So in order to calculate the density, we need to know the exact volume. So in each of our examples today, we're going to use a half a cup to get an accurate measurement. So for our bottom sediment layer, I have some shells and some sea glass. For our deep ocean layer, I have some salt water. And for our top surface layer, I have some fresh water that's colored blue. So now let's take and measure each one of these using our scale. So for the bottom or the sediment with our rocks and glass, it weighs 6.8 ounces. And for our salt water, it weighs 5.8 ounces. And for our fresh water, it weighs 5.25 ounces. Now, each one of these was a half a cup volume. We'll come back to do the math in just a minute, but first, let's mix up some seawater. So this container is going to represent our ocean today. So I'm going to take our seawater, which is colored green, and pour it in. Now, I'm going to take our bottom sediment and drop that in. There we go. Now, I'm going to take some of our fresh water to see where it lands. Now, I know you're going to say, he just put ice in there so it would float to the top. But if I poured in some fresh water on here, the mechanical mixing of it would be like causing a hurricane in there. So we're going to set this aside while we do our math, come back to take a look at it. So to calculate the density, we are going to divide the weight by the volume and get our relative density. So for 6.8 divided by 1/2, it equals 13.6. Now we'll do the same for 5.8 divided by 1/2. That's 11.6. Now 5.25 divided by 1/2. Or hey, did anybody see a pattern here? Dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2. So 5.25, that's easier for me. That's 10.5. So as we look at that, which material is the most dense? That would be our bottom sediment layer or the shells and glass at 13.6. And then our seawater or salt water, which is a little bit less dense, and then our fresh water, to see how that comes out on the layers. Let's take a look. Now here's our look. Doesn't that look cool? We have our bottom, our middle layer, which is the middle density, and then the top layer within the surface layer. Now, is there another layer that we can't see? The air, that's correct. So actually there's 4 layers in this experiment. Now I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to learn about density with me. But I want to tell you, your destiny is to continue to learn, reach for the stars, and you'll do great things. Thank you.